If 2022 was an exercise in attrition, 2023 may be a slugfest. Last year's battle was between Toluchka and Tompkins, but the man who settled for third is back to fight with the new contenders. Corey Snyder is joined by some new old friends, and this is just the beginning of a brand new season as the All-Stars head to the Sunshine State in search of pride and points. Welcome to the Sunshine State. We have beautiful weather where normally we'd be up north indoors. We are outdoors, 50 to 60 degree temperatures here this weekend in Brooksville, Florida, to be exact, at the Hernando County Fairgrounds, where our coverage season kicks off with the kickoff event of the 2023 All-Star Monster Truck Tour and the beginning of the 2023 Monster Mashers Championship Series. Now, if you followed our stretch run coverage of this series last year, you'll know it came down to a two-way battle between Florida's own Buddy Tompkins in the Raising Cane Ram out of Deltona, Florida, and the man out of Wisconsin, Brandon Toluchka, in the Packer Fastener Ford. Of course, the championship went the way of Ford. Buddy Tompkins was in it right till the end, save for some transmission problems when he got to that last weekend. It seemed to be chronic transmission problems. He went through 4 of them in 3 events, and that cost him any hopes of that 2022 championship. But this year, one of the big stories coming in is there is only one returning All-Star from the 22 championship. That is Corey Snyder in Toxic 2.0, who returns this year to do battle with the likes of the Robbins brothers, Triton and Montana, who will be with us for the entire season. Corey will only be with us for select events. He still has a shot at the championship, but he is going to have to be almost dead on perfect. Also alongside the Robbins brothers will be the man out of Michigan, the fan turned promoter turned monster truck owner and driver Elliot Miller out of Ionia, Michigan in the Ford-bodied Sinistar, and the guy who is playing the biggest spoiler on the early part of this tour. He'll be here with us for this 3-week Florida Swing Bad Habit. Joe Sylvester out of Boardman, Ohio, sponsored by the Kuffleitner Auto Group. He brings the big Jeep Gladiator here to Brooksville to do battle with the rest of the field. The series starts off with 5. We will have some other contenders joining later in the year, but you will be seeing these 5 trucks for this Florida run. And we're about to get things underway. A packed house of awesome fans out under a beautiful sunlit afternoon. We're going to get going here in just a moment. Stay with us. The best trick competition kicks off as the first points will go on the board next.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. Stay up to date with photos, videos, event info, and more at monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For an inside look at the monster truck phenomenon, check out Crush This, a monster truck podcast.
There's only one place in the world you can find this much old school cool. Freedom Racing Monster Trucks. The home of Cyclops and Unmade and Untamed. Get yourself a limited edition toy at freedomracingmt.com.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army, the place to get your motorsports fix.
Great crowd on hand here at the Hernando County Fairgrounds in Brooksville, Florida. They are pumped for the All-Star Monster Truck Tour to get underway here with the 2023 Monster Mashers Championship Series, clearing the field after intros as we get ready to watch all 5 of the All-Stars take their shot at the first 10 available points on the tour in the best trick competition. As we give you the breakdown real quick at how this works. A perfect run, that being a 10 in the best trick competition, a 30 in freestyle, and a win in racing, which is worth 20 points, will net you 60 points. That's a perfect day. But you do not have to win any of the events actually to take the overall at each individual event. It's just the truck with the most points at the end of the day that takes home that overall trophy. So whether or not you win individual events, you can actually do yourself a favor by being consistent. Consistency is often rewarded in a competition like this, as our first machine comes up for its best trick attempt. Montana Robin out of Lawton's, New York, the Empire Flyer in Plain Crazy. Going for a stoppie right there, and open front end. I believe the dirt may be still a little wet over there. This is an interesting surface. It's a clay sand mixture as we're up here north of the real sandy section of Florida. His two-wheel moves, though, have become popular with the fans. It's really right in his wheelhouse. His brother pushes him each and every week, that being Trite and Crazy Train. Let's see what he has here for hit number 2, though. Again, you can see it right there. The open front end hurt him as one wheel spun forward, one spun backwards. Look at this. That will not be for points, but it got the fans on their feet. Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy. He knew he wasn't going to get any points for it, but he did not want to leave the track without giving the fans something to get them on their feet. We'll see what the score is here in just a moment as he heads back to the pit area. Score of 4, not what he was looking for. Again, looking for a 10 for a perfect score in this competition. There you see the Robbins father, Bob Robbins, first gen of this multi-generation team. We'll get another look at that second move and watch the left front here as he gets on the brakes. You see it stop, and the other tire, the right front, actually keeps spinning. Nothing was broken. It's just an open front end. He was talking about putting a locker in there. He may do that tonight. We'll see if he can do any better tomorrow. Now, Elliott Miller out of Ionia, Michigan. If this chassis can talk, Sinistar coming out in front of the crowd here at Brooksville. Brand new power plant in this truck. He's got a lot more cubic inches and a lot more horsepower to play with. And you can see it right there. Locks up the brakes near the wall. Elliott Miller in Sinistar getting wild, opening things up. And I'd say even if he stopped now, that move alone probably jumped him over Montana Robbins, who had problems in the first run there in Plain Crazy. Now as Miller comes around to the two-wheel ramp over here nearest our side. Nicely done. Miller laying it down. The Michigan Ford working the track. I'm going to go ahead and guess that he's going to take the lead with those two moves right there, as Robbins will have to wait till racing to try to really put some points on. 6. A score of 6 for Elliott Miller. By 2 points, he jumps into the lead. And I think that wheelie was really what did it for him. Look at this again. A textbook sky wheelie, a little bit off to the left. And I don't know that he knew he was going to get that kind of a moonshot when he laid into the throttle. Again, running a lot more horsepower than he's used to. Really only had a chance to test it yesterday out here in the field. Has not hit the track with that motor combination just yet. Now, Corey Snyder out of Frederick, Maryland. Toxic 2.0. The metal shop chassis underneath of the F350 Super Duty body. Running a Stauffer power plant in the back. Going for the slap wheelie. It did not materialize as he tries to put 1,400 horsepower to the track with the 557 cubic inch big block Chevrolet that's in the back of this thing. Gonna line up for the rocket ramp coming out of the woods. That's one of the cool things about this track, is this little extra piece of real estate back here. Let's see what Snyder's got. Coming right past you as he flies out to center track. Snyder laying down a shot in Toxic. Little extra hit for him. They're trying to feel out the suspension. You recall over the past 2 years they've had this truck. It's been a real learning curve. He came from a Patrick chassis machine, which weighed about 11.5, maybe 12,000 pounds, to this machine that weighs a lot more. It's got more horsepower, but it handles totally differently, and you can see right there, he will not go into the lead. Toxic only scoring a 4. I'm actually a little surprised at that. I thought he would have gotten maybe 1 point up on Montana Robbins, but I think giving up that sky wheelie at the top of the run really hurt him as we get one more look at Toxic flying past the camera right there, almost taking out the drone. Nice run for him. And those drone shots, by the way, brought to you by CJ FPV from right here in the Sunshine State. Here comes another Robbins family member out of Western New York, the Crazy Train. Eddie Micah chassis with an engine out of the Jansen shop from Elma, New York. Nicely done, putting all that horsepower to the ground. Triton does build his own engines out of Mike Janis's shop there in Erie County, New York, so he knows what they will and won't take. Let's see what he can do here. Got the slap wheelie. We know he can do the two-wheel moves. Will the dirt hold it? It did for Miller. He does, so that's what he was looking for. Just giving him a taste, and he blares that train whistle. A little extra for the kids here, and that could give him that boost that he needs with the crowd applause as he goes into freestyle. But I have a feeling he just took over the lead with that run. An awesome best trick run for Robbins. He does indeed. A score of 8 for the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Again, builds his own power plants out of Mike Janis's shop, the Jansen Motorsports shop in Erie County, New York. So very familiar with the parts and pieces in this machine. They build a lot of their own parts, and he knows what every corner, every inch of this truck will take. Our last competitor in this competition out of Boardman, Ohio, Joe Sylvester. In the Jeep Gladiator, sponsored by Kuffleitner Auto Group, Bad Habit. The Zoomies cackling with all that Steve Vance horsepower, built by VZ Engines out of the state of West Virginia. Very popular in the mud racing community. Popper into a wheelie up and over the box there. Let's see what he's got for hit 2. Nicely done. He was able to get the stoppies. He was able to get the popper, but I do think he wanted more than that out of his best trick run overall right now. So Joe Sylvester heading off the track as he heads back into the pits. We're going to wait and see. I do believe the train will hang on to that number 1 spot for the time being and pick up the early season points lead. A score of 5 for Joe Sylvester in Bad Habit. Not quite there. It's 3 points short of being on top. So that means the train will pick up that early season points lead by 2 points over Sinistar and Elliott Miller. Then it's Joe Sylvester in Bad Habit, Montana Robbins in Playing Crazy, and Corey Snyder in Toxic tied in 4th and 5th. Triton Robbins getting his first trophy of the year, and I do believe this guy will be picking up many of those before the end of the season. The crowd is on their feet racing. Will be coming up next. 20 points on the line. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Brooksville. Welcome back to Brooksville, Florida, the Hernando County Fairgrounds, as we continue with the 2023 Monster Mashers Championship Series. Round 1 of racing about to get underway on this interesting race surface. As I mentioned, it's kind of a silty, sandy clay. Doesn't pack quite as the clay we see up here in Virginia does. This clay will break apart very easily, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys fare on this track down here. It's not the sand that we see down in South Florida, but should hold some horsepower, but allow these guys to scoot around the turn. As we take a look at our first round bracket, Sinistar will take on Plain Crazy. The winner of that matchup goes to match up with Bad Habit in the semifinals. He got there by virtue of the blind draw, and then Toxic 2.0 and Crazy Train will battle for the bottom of the bracket in the semifinals. The winner of that matchup will take on the Fast Loser out of round number 1 as Elliot Miller gets ready to come to the line in Sinistar. I mentioned before that chassis has quite a history on it. It's designed after the original Dan Patrick PEI Patrick Enterprises design. It is not a Patrick chassis technically, though. It was built by Brian Bartle out of Coon Rapids, Minnesota, and it's run under a couple of different identities. He's going to go toe-to-toe, though, against a powerhouse Chevrolet in the young superstar Montana Robbins, who will be on tour only for this stop so far. He will come back later on the tour, but the Florida swing, we'll be seeing another driver in Crazy Train. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Right now, though, the first matchup of round 1. The early lead goes to the Chevrolet. Not a bad turn from Miller. He actually comes out quicker and takes a slight lead into the second leg, but problems for the Ford will take him down. Montana Robbins rolling on to a first-round victory over Elliot Miller in Sinistar. Miller actually picked up an advantage coming over the first race lane after the first turn, but he got in trouble in that back section. We'll take another look at it here in just a moment as Montana Robbins rolls off the track in Plain Crazy. He'll head back to the pits and get ready for a semifinal round matchup with Bad Habit. Here we'll look again. Miller with a beautiful first turn. And you can see Robbins got in a little trouble over there. Miller actually probably could have picked up a win, but he overshot. That first jump ended up way down there in the corner. Had to get it stopped before he got into the barricades and the trailers, and that allowed Montana Robbins to come back for the victory. As you can see, Miller getting on the power, and we talk about his chassis. It was built to do wheel stands, really, and it does do them. He may need to reset the shocks on that thing just a little bit. We'll wait and see, though. It's easier said than done to drive one of these big monster trucks now as Toxic 2.0 comes to the line to do battle with Crazy Train. Triton Robbins, one of the last guys we actually saw one of the All-Star Monster Truck Tour on our coverage. He took a win down in Lake Erie last year over a superstar lineup there. Ended up blowing the motor up, but got plenty left in it now as he takes on Corey Snyder in Toxic. Early jump going to the train. Snyder is going to have to push to come back. Robbins actually taking it easy on that first jump. It probably helped him as he takes an even bigger lead, and he goes flying across the finish line to pick up the first round victory. Shuts it down with very little room to spare, but that is why they put all those barricades down there on that end of the track. Watch it one more time. Both of these trucks had beautiful first turns, but Robbins just got out of the hole quicker, and he had about a truck length advantage going over the first jump. And around that second turn, it was all Crazy Train. Snyder tried to fight back, didn't give it up, but just didn't have enough to catch up. Not enough track left in that one, I think. May have been able to catch up on a little bit longer track, so it'll be Bad Habit taking on Sinistar. There's been a change here as there are problems with Plain Crazy. They are back there working on that truck right now to get it ready for Freestyle. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but they are up in the engine compartment right now looking at that, and we'll get a rematch as Toxic 2.0 will take on Crazy Train. Toxic 2.0, of course, our fast loser, so he'll get another shot at the guy that just knocked him down as Joey Sylvester rolls out of Boardman, Ohio in the Jeep Gladiator. Bad Habit The Steve Vance horsepower, a lot of purple and orange, well represented on the starting line here. Elliott Miller gonna take a shot at a guy he's definitely given some work to over the years, so we'll see if Joey is very nice to him. I don't think anything is gonna keep Joe Sylvester from trying to take a victory here. You can see he's running the China tires. Normally he runs those big Primax hater cuts on that thing. Did not want to do that down here. He wanted to be able to let the tires blow off a little bit and really scoot around these corners as he bought a set of tires from Alan Pizzo. So a big thanks to him. We'll see if it works for him in this racing semifinal round matchup. Bad Habit and Sinistar. Sylvester with a good jump out of the hole. And he's got a big lead on Miller right now, heading into the final leg. Look at Miller go sky high, and he's got a problem. Sylvester will move on to the championship round, and he's got a problem. He just blew the right rear tire. What happened here? Both trucks with issues going off the track. I don't know if he just knocked it off the rim. That might be something they can fix between rounds, but that's the last thing he wanted to happen. As I said, he made his tire choice so he'd be able to make these corners on this roundy-round course here with this weird clay we've got. Watch this jump, though, for Elliott Miller. Watch the front end when he comes down. Hard hit for the Ford out of Michigan. Look at him bounce on out of our camera range. And then Sylvester right here. The tire still has air in it. It looks like it blew out on the landing, so I don't know if he just broke the bead or if he actually blew a hole in the tire or what, but they're back there right now, he and his crew trying to get that thing fixed. We'll see what they're able to do as our second pairing in the semifinals comes into stage. It will be Crazy Train and Toxic 2.0. Rematch from round one. Now in different lanes. Snyder has got to be quick out of the hole to beat Robbins. Even start, Snyder quick into the turn. A bit of a lead for the Ford from Maryland. Both of them pouring it on in a wild finish for Snyder as he uses up all the space down there. But the win will go to the Crazy Train out of New York. Flying to the finish line. Back-to-back victories over Snyder, and he did it out of both lanes. So Corey will go back to the pit area and wait for Freestyle. He did, however, just pick up 15 points by virtue of making it into the semifinal round. Watch this, a beautiful first turn. He had maybe about a half or a third of a truck length lead there over the first jump, but Crazy Train, once Robbins made that final turn, and he made a good one, dirt tracked it on in there, both of them flying to the inside as they came down. Both of those trucks working beautifully, and now we get a look at the action going on down in the Bad Habit camp. And look at this, they are not going to be able to fix that tire, so they're going to have to rob tires, I said tires, off of the ride truck. And the reason is the cleat is so different on these two sets of tires, they can't run just one. They're going to have to change both rear tires, and they are up against the clock on this one right now. And you see Joe Sylvester, the driver, the crew, and a couple of other teams going to work to get that thing repaired. This was a little bit earlier when the tire was still bolted on the truck. You can see it does have a couple of weak spots in it, and the word we get is he blew a big hole in the sidewall on the inside surface of that tire. So stay with us. Sylvester up against the clock. Can he make the call? Find out when we come back to Florida.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
You hear the cackle of big horsepower here at the Hernando County Fairgrounds. The 2023 Monster Masters Championship Series continues on as Crazy Train rolls to the starting line. The question when we went to break was, can Joe Sylvester make the call? They had to replace 2 rear tires to even up this truck. There's your answer. Sylvester will roll to the line. Black and orange Jeep out of Boardman, Ohio, sponsored by Cliff Leitner Auto Group. Coming down to represent them well, and you can see the difference in the cut on those tires. He's got a lot of meat on the back end of that truck, and they weren't able to do exactly what they wanted. I'll tell you about that in just a moment, but you can see how these two got there. Sinistar and Plain Crazy matched up in that first round. Sinistar came back when Plain Crazy had mechanical problems. Bad Habit got the automatic seat through a blind draw into that semifinal round. He knocked out Sinistar there. Toxic 2.0 and Crazy Train battled twice when Toxic 2.0 came back as the fast loser. So Crazy Train has 2 wins on the track. Bad Habit has 1. The advantage may go to Crazy Train, but take nothing away from Joe Sylvester. However, the good run that he just made was made with a completely different tire combination and now a completely different handling truck. The way they would have liked to have done this is to put the big meat on the front so it would pull through the corners and leave the smoother tire on the back so they could kind of sweep through there and dirt track with the front end pulling. They're not going to have that right now, so this truck may have a tendency to push as he matches up against Crazy Train. We'll see, does Robbins have the advantage? Sylvester clearly quick out of the hole. Robbins goes very fast in the first corner. And the lead goes to the train early. Final leg, tight turn, and the train with a flying lead to the finish line will pick up the victory. And I do believe Sylvester was dealing with some push from those big, meaty hater cut Yokos in the back. That ends up being his demise, but take nothing away from Triton Robbins. If Sylvester had been able to keep the tire combination he wanted, Robbins would not have handed him that victory. Triton with a good run here in the championship round of Monster Truck Racing. That means he laid down, let's see, 8 points out of the best trick competition, 20 here in racing. He is leading the charge right now with 28 points. There you see his brother, Montana Robbins, the Plain Crazy driving suit with his father, Bob, team out of Lawrence, New York, trying to get that truck back in action. You know, look at it again, you can see Sylvester definitely struggling a bit with that tire combination. Again, not what he wanted to do. There's a lot more that they could have done with it had he had the time. But you can see right here, look at the leap across the finish line, nose high. Sylvester was not that far behind, given the problems that he did have, and Triton Robbins picking up a very popular victory here with the fans. The kids and adults love that team all the same, so he'll take the momentum. He's got the momentum behind him now going into the freestyle competition. Here's a look at the points before we get into freestyle. That'll be coming up in just a moment. 28 points, a 6-point lead over Bad Habit, who has a 1-point lead over Sinistar. Sinistar with 2 points up on Toxic 2.0 and 2 points up on Plain Crazy is Corey Snyder in Toxic. So that is our top 5 right now. The only 5 who have put points on the season so far. As we get ready for our freestyle competition, the fans are chomping at the bit for the destruction to get underway here in Brooksville, Florida. And before we get into this, we're going to show you how we score freestyle on the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. 1 to 10 in each of these categories. Use of course, momentum, and wow factor. Our pro judges, the fans' applause will also factor in the noise level there. The highest possible score is a 30. And first up will be Elliot Miller out of Ionia, Michigan in Sinistar. Getting on the power right there. Good way to start it with the stoppie. We'll see how hard he runs it, though, because he did a little bit of damage in his semifinal round race. Just feeling the truck out right now. That hard landing he took in the racing bracket actually bent the tabs where the front sway bar adjusters mount to the housing. So he's running with a handicapped truck right now, and the shocks are not quite where he'd like them. They do work well for that, though. A nice slap wheelie coming back into this arena. Got to be the loudest truck on the premises. Short and sweet there for Elliott Miller. Not quite the run that I think he'd hoped for, but like I said, running with a partially damaged truck. Minor damage, albeit damage. As you can see right there, was able to open things up with the stoppie. Did that nicely, and then these slap wheelies. This truck is capable of doing some of the best wheels, if not the best wheelies in the business. This old V-Cradle Patrick style chassis. We'll see what the final score is here for Miller. We'll add that to his total of 4, a 6, and a 6 for a score of 16. So Sinistar will roll out of here with 37 points total. Not bad considering the problems he has had today. Now Montana Robbins out of Lawtons, New York. I mentioned earlier, this guy will actually be taking a hiatus after this weekend. Another driver will be jumping into the seat of this truck to continue on this tour, and it's none other than Buddy Tompkins out of Geneva, Florida. He will be co-driving this machine for part of the season. And right there, you can see the problems Montana Robbins continuing to have with the open front end. We've seen him do stoppies with this setup before, but it's not handling the way he'd like it right now, though. It does work well for those sky wheelies. Feeling the truck back out again. Not sure what the trouble he had between races was that could put him out of the bracket, but a nice run he's got going here. See if he can pick up the pace a little bit. Now for the two-wheel moves. Got it up there that time. It still does not want to grab. He's got those sky wheelies down. Again, that big Jansen horsepower working for him. A lot of smoke coming out of the back of this truck right now, though. And now kind of went away. There it is again. I'm not sure if that's coming off the brakes or actual engine compartment, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and bring it to a stop over there on the far side, and he may be losing oil pressure. I'm not sure. They have been having some problems here today with Plain Crazy, but Montana Robbins giving him a good accounting of himself here. There we go. A little extra for the crowd. He wasn't quite done as the smoke continues to roll out. Hope it's nothing serious. It could be a head gasket going away or anything, but we haven't had a chance to get over there and talk to them. I guarantee you, though, they're going to take it right back there and work on it for tomorrow. He is going to come back with a vengeance here on Sunday afternoon. Watch it again, though. He had some beautiful sky wheelies throughout this run. Not the day he wanted here in Brooksville to start this season off, but definitely trying to pick his momentum up, and he didn't leave the track too dejected, and a nice move right there to add a few points to the total. He is shooting at a 16, an 8, a 7, and a 7 for a score of 22. He will take the lead here early in the freestyle competition. 3 more to go. Some heavy hitters about to come to the track. Frederick, Maryland's Corey Snyder and the Metal Shop Chassis Toxic 2.0. The 557 cubic inch Chevy big block built by Kevin Stauffer. In the back, that power plant originally built by the Metal Shop. Took it to their normal engine builder, Kevin Stauffer. Keep it good, nice and tight. Snyder is coming out hunting for the win right now. collects the K-rail that's buried in the top of that obstacle. Wanted to go for a slap wheelie there, but he was pointed at the wall. Just getting warmed up here, I think. He's got a lot more in store as he works the center of the track. There it is. He will hit everything out here before the end of this freestyle. I can guarantee you that, as he is planning on leaving nothing on the table. There's no time limit here. So he can push this thing for as long as he wants, and he is just getting warmed up for this 2023 season. Comboed that up right there, and again, not a lot of space going that way. Best hang time we've seen so far. And into it, past vertical. Look at that. The bedside's apart. Corey Snyder and Toxic throwing caution to the wind early in the 2023 campaign. Leaving a little fiberglass on the track. Didn't hurt the truck any. Snyder coming out to the roar of the crowd. A little dejected there. He's got some work to do with fiberglass. It's never fun, but just about 4 pieces. They got to bolt right back on there. Throw a little Lexan on the back of it, bolt it back together, and he'll be on his way. A good run for this truck out of Maryland, and again, really wanted those long slap wheelies. He wasn't able to get one of those, but he did do this, past vertical, and look at the bed explode to the right as he comes down, and he left a big divot on the top of that ramp. Let's see what he did. He was shooting at a 22. It was laid down by Plain Crazy. An 8, an 8, and a 9 for a score of 25 for Corey Snyder in Toxic. He will take the lead by 3 points. He's going to head back to the pits, and they are going to stand by and watch our final 2 come out and see if they can knock him off the top. The train comes to life here at the Hernando County Fairgrounds as we continue with the 2023 Monster Mashers Championship Series. Right now leading the charge in freestyle, Corey Snyder in Toxic with a 25, your leader in points. Triton Robbins in Crazy Train now starting his freestyle. Gets it going in spectacular fashion. See what he can do. There were a few things that I think Snyder might have left on the table there. Again, this is just the first day of competition. There's plenty of this tour to go. Don't want to tear it up too early. Remember, consistency is your friend on a points tour. Cyclones for the Chattanooga Choo-Choo, whipping up a storm in the sand. And again, not a lot of dust out here, which is good. They have not had to spend much time watering this track, and there is some bite in this thing now. What I say, standing it up with the slap wheelie, headed off into the woods. Nicely done. Didn't spend any time setting that up. Just went right to it. Dragging the wheelie bar through the sand here in Brooksville. And you talk about spatial awareness. Right between the trees. You have to think about it. As Crazy Train, Triton Robbins looking for a clean sweep here in round one. Looks like he is going to wrap it up right there. Crazy Train and Triton Robbins going after the 25 of Corey Snyder. He'll head off the track. We will see where he ended up. It's going to be close. I'd say Snyder may have had a little better momentum, but again, the spectacle has to go to Crazy Train. We will see. Snyder had a 9 for the wow factor, by the way. Those Cyclones were awesome. And then these slap wheelies, which is what Snyder was trying to do. He got a bit of one, but not what he can normally do. And then Robbins came out and did it with that. We will see. Use, of course, in 8, momentum in 8, and a wow factor in 8. 3/8 for a 24. He's 1 point short, and I don't know that he's going to agree with that, but it's not going to hurt his overall. He's still in that points lead as our final competitor rolls out of Boardman, Ohio, the big Jeep, Joe Sylvester in Bad Habit. Huge leap out to center track. Right up against the back wall over there. Managed to get it turned around. Keeping that forward momentum is all important. Foot full of throttle. Grabbed a bunch of it right there. Picking the front end up. I think he turned those valves in before he came out. That front end is bouncing, but it's working for him here. This is not really a huge air track. There's some air to get, but this is a very technical track. If you can find the flow on it, looks like he's doing just that. He's got him a good run going. You can see, though, the front end is pushing with that tire combo. Tell you what, coming through those trees, I feel bad for the War Motorsports team. They're parked right there with the trailer doors open, and he is throwing all kinds of roost back there. Beautiful launch for Bad Habit. Massive air going the other way. Can't seem to stay out of that back wall, though. Ooh, and something went away on Bad Habit right there. You heard it pop as he started into that donut. He was going to try to put that thing in the spin cycle. This dirt will allow it to break loose. The tires holding up. Something went away in the motor there. You heard about 3 or 4 pops. And then the RPMs came down. Hopefully he didn't drop a valve or bend a rod or anything like that. Look at the hang time in this run, though. I'm interested to see where this ends up as far as the scoring goes, because right now Corey Snyder has a 1-point lead, and I think it was the combination and the momentum that helped him. Now, Sylvester had the momentum with a lot of big air, some good wheelies, but he didn't have as much of the two-wheel combination there, so let's see where he ends up on the board. Was not a bad run by any means. Do not think I'm saying that. An 8, a 9, and a 6 for a score of 23. Joe Sylvester in Bad Habit going to come up a little bit short on the freestyle points there, and that means Crazy Train will go out of here with the lead, 52 points. Taking the lead out of this first event of the season, Bad Habit, Toxic 2.0, Plain Crazy, and Sinistar rounding out the 5-truck field here, and you can see been a wild first round of action here with the Monster Bashers Championship Series as they give their goodbyes to the great crowd we had on hand here today. These guys are going to go back, work on these trucks a little bit here tonight, get rested up, and we will be back at it tomorrow, Sunday afternoon event. Won't want to miss that on our next edition from our new coverage season here in 2023. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.